Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ben, this is Books with Bengus Khan, and today I have for you the book series tag, a new tag I've created to talk about my favorite series of all different sizes. So I'll just try to have fun with it, and we'll see where it goes. So now, first prompt is a favorite standalone that works as a series unto itself. So I have a couple of absolute favorites. This is Ogres by Adrian Tchaikovsky. It's a novella that's gripped to just about every single page as much as possible, and it works as this really interesting unfolding mystery with lots of plot twists. Just was perfect, left me wanting more, but like it was fully complete. And then another favorite standalone is Project Hail Mary. I haven't read that many fantasy standalones yet. I actually just started Piranesi, so hopefully that's going to join my favorites. But this one just was absolutely perfect for me, with all sorts of problem solving, an amnesia and flashback plot that I loved and you couldn't really do again in a sequel, and so many great things where I got to the end and was fully satisfied with this one. Prompt number 2 is a favorite duology. So for all of these prompts, if you have not read a series of that size, you could do a highly anticipated one of that size as well. But I have read one duology in my life. It was a while back, and that was the first 2 Hyperion books. Now, it has a sequel series, so it might count as a 4-book series, but the first 2, Hyperion and The Fall of Hyperion here, really are a contiguous set of books. There's a big time jump after. I read these back in college. They're such an interesting duology because the first book takes this Canterbury Tales format of just all these novellas that are kind of each character's flashback story that they're telling to the group as they're traveling, and then book 2 is where we get then the events of the present day really unfolding. So it's a very interesting duology, and a lot of the details have fled from my memory, so I want to give it a reread and see if I love it just as much after it's been about 15 years. But other duologies, there aren't that many in fantasy that I can think of, but I'm very highly anticipating the Sarantine Mosaic by Guy Gavriel Kay. I have The Coward and the Warrior by Stephen Arion to try, as well as The Poison War by Sam Hawke. So a few duologies I am hopefully going to really like. Prompt 3, a favorite trilogy, and this one's tough to narrow down, so I'm going to go for a few with different genres. So trilogies are really what reinvigorated my reading life as an adult, back when it started to tail off around 2017, and it was the Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy, starting with The Three-Body Problem by Cixin Liu, which was an absolutely scintillating read for me all the way through. I even reread it within a year and loved it both times. Yeah, this one, just one of my all-time favorites. Couldn't love it more. And that was sci-fi, though, and it wasn't until I tried out the original Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson that I realized I might love reading fantasy as an adult, and that it wasn't something I just loved as a kid growing up. And so it all started with Mistborn. Ash fell from the sky. I love the creative world building and immersive setting. The magic was so interesting to me. Got invested in the characters, and the series-wide plot just really pays off. And yeah, each book really stands well on its own with its own plot and arc as well. So just a perfect trilogy for me there. Prompt 4, a favorite tetralogy, and this one is pretty easy for me. That is The Faithful and the Fallen by John Gwynne. Just an absolutely tremendous roller coaster ride from start to finish. Just got attached to the characters. The action is so gritty and immersive. John Gwynne is just the fantasy author that was just made perfectly for me. Yeah, every book here I loved and moved along the story in a really, really great way. Yeah, couldn't love that more. Prompt 5, a favorite pentalogy. This one is challenging because I don't think there are too many out there, but I'm going to go with the Stormlight Archive, the first arc, which is 5 books. We are 4 books in. I read the first 3 all together when they were out, and then was highly anticipating book 4 Rhythm War, loved it, and this arc is really feeling like its own series. There's going to be a time jump after, but the way it's plotted, and with the main characters in each book giving another one of them their kind of their flashback narrative, I'm utterly engrossed in this series, and with the mysteries that we're learning about the world and its history that feed into the plot and the character drama, I just could not love the Stormlight Archive more. One of my favorites, and yeah, I am thinking of this as really 2 5-book series. especially because we won't get the full 10-book series for many, many more years. So yeah, that's my favorite Pentalogy. There are some others out there I can think of, like The Dagger and the Coin, which I have and want to try, and also Jen Lyon's A Chorus of Dragons series, but really I couldn't think of that many different ones, so I had to get a little creative for favorite Pentalogy. For prompt 6, a favorite Hexalogy, I have read a couple that I have to choose from, and it is clearly the Rhaenyra Revelations series by Michael J. Sullivan, one of the earliest fantasy series I read. It was a breezy, good time that was very tightly plotted and ended up with a lot of payoffs by the end that made me very satisfied with the whole series. Middle books maybe a little bit forgettable, but for a solid 6-book series, I think this one is an easy pick for me. I have also read the novels of the Malazan Empire by Ian C. Asimont, and that was just very inconsistent, where I really liked a few of the books, didn't love the last couple, and so that was more inconsistent, but did have its moments for me. Prompt 7, a favorite Heptalogy. That's a 7-book series, and had a couple to choose from, but I'm going with The Sun Eater Saga by Christopher Rocchio. I'm currently just caught up with this and loving it. We have the 6th book maybe coming out sometime late this year or early next year, and so only got a couple more to go, and I am so caught up in this drama and the main character that's telling this retrospective story, and just absolutely loving it. These are pretty long, and I think Christopher's earlier publisher, forced him to split books 4 and 5 into 2, so it was originally maybe a 6-book series, but now it's a Heptalogy, so it can count for this prompt. For prompt 8, a favorite Octalogy. There are so few 8-book series out there that I wanted to do something different with this prompt. If you've read one, you have a favorite, go with that one, but I have not read any 8-book series, and I have the Rune Lords on my TBR, and that's 8 books. The Witcher is one of the only popular 8-book series, and I DNF'd that early on into book 1, so that's not going to be my pick for this one. And so for this prompt, I want you to go with something that you wish were an 8-book series. So something that you wish were longer and extended into 8 books, or something that you wished were shorter and condensed down to 8 books. And for this one, I'll go with the Cradle series by Will White. So this is a planned 12-book series, with the 12th book coming out soon. And I think it would be amazing if it had been condensed a little bit more, because I enjoyed the start, the first book here, Unsold, but the next bunch of books really did not hook me, and it wasn't until I got all the way up to book 6 where I started to really get invested in the story again. And I think that some of these early books they just weren't too engaging, compelling, and a lot of that character development he did around book 6 would have really helped if that had been done earlier, maybe condense some of the events. Some of those books are pretty short too. And I think there is a really awesome 8-book series in there. And a lot of people, including me, didn't love book 11, feeling that like this, in this progression fantasy, that maybe things have gotten to a point where they're too powerful and a lot of the drama is sapped. But yeah, I've loved a lot of these books, especially books 6 through 10. And if it were just maybe a little tighter, it could be an all-timer for me. But as it is, probably just going to be a pretty good series for me. For prompt 9, a favorite Ennealogy. That's your 9-book series. I'm learning new words with this tag, which is cool. And I have an embarrassment of riches here to choose from, because 2 of my favorite series were Ennealogies. The first is a recent sci-fi I read. That is the Expanse series. So this was just a fantastic, made-for-me kind of sci-fi series with engaging on interesting, thought-provoking sci-fi ideas while being a very relatable, tense character drama at the same time. If you want to go for something for this prompt, since they're not too common, you could put stuff together like the First Law series. You could combine sub-series and standalones, count things however you want to get them to the right number for these prompts. But yeah, what a great contiguous 9-book series The Expanse was. Prompt 10, a favorite Decalogy. And that's easy for me. Favorite 10-book series is Shadows of the Apt by Adrian Tchaikovsky. What a wild, tense ride this series is. It feels to me like a combination of Brandon Sanderson and John Gwynn's strengths as an author combined into one, with the creative, expansive world building of Sanderson, that accessible prose style that both those authors have, with John Gwynn's pacing and gritty action and battle sequences this is also doing its own thing, kind of a political intrigue, spy thriller, almost inspired by the start of World War II. It's just kicking on all cylinders for me. I love this series, and I also had an embarrassment of riches for this prompt as well, because the Malazan Book of the Fallen, another absolutely epic, amazing 10-book series for me. And we're not done yet, because prompt 11 is your favorite series that is bigger than 10 books. So your favorite mega series, and I'm just a series kind of person. I love binging long series, just being immersed in the same world with the same characters for many books at a time. And so I have a couple that I can go with here. I definitely enjoyed my time with Wheel of Time at 15 books, but my favorite ongoing series might be The Dresden Files, which is I think this is book 17 out of a planned 25, so we got a long way to go, and it's going to be even more epic. But the last run of books from about books 10, Small Favor, up through Battleground, some of my favorite books of all time, just all in that stretch. Butcher could do no wrong with this series for me. And yeah, can't wait for more Dresden. And then a favorite historical fiction series that I've been getting into over the past year. That's the Sharpe series by Bernard Cornwell, set during the Napoleonic War era, following the British soldier Richard Sharpe. There are 22 of the Sharpe books out right now. Cornwell started his publishing career with these in 1981, and he is still going strong. We should be looking forward to book number 23 coming out this year, where Cornwell is turning 80 years old. So let's go! Bernard Cornwell still going strong, but I love it. Yeah, I don't even think there's a word for a series that is this long. That takes me through the book series tag. I am going to tag a lot of people in the description, so if you want to try it out, go for it. If you weren't tagged and still want to do it, go for it. And if you don't have anything for any of these prompts, once again, you can do a highly anticipated series for you that is that size, or you could just skip a prompt here and there, and yeah, have fun with it. And if you have to combine different sub-series and things, just go for it. There's no one who's going to be a stickler for the rules about what fits each prompt. So enjoy, and yeah, let me know what you think about my picks, and I look forward to seeing lots of other people's book series tags going forward. All right, I'll catch you later.